Kia ora, Year 0 and Year 1s. This next video is to help you learn all about measurement, specifically volume and capacity. Now, you might wonder what those words actually mean, so I'm going to help you out. Capacity tells us the total amount of liquid that a container can hold, and volume tells us how much liquid there is or how much space it takes up in the container. First, let's start off by getting you to think about some liquids that use capacity. What could there be? Oh, I know. What about water? Or milk? Or orange juice? Why would we need to know how much liquid a container can hold? I've got an example for you. If I'm going to the beach and I've only got a very small water bottle, is that going to be enough water for the whole day? No, it's not, is it? But if it has a greater capacity, like a big water bottle, then I know I'll be set for the whole day. What about if I'm thinking about making a cake for a birthday party? Think of some liquids that might go into your cake mixture. Maybe some milk, maybe oil. Some cakes need oil. If I put too much liquid into my cake mixture, it's going to be too wet. But if I don't put enough liquid in, then the mixture is going to be too dry. So I need to put in the exact amount to get it just right. So our next slides are going to teach you a little bit more about volume and capacity. And there are some cool activities that you can do at home to practice. So the first activity, we are going to be learning about a litre. You might have heard mum or dad saying, oh, I need a litre of milk at the supermarket. So we're going to be, first of all, learning about a litre. That's a measurement of volume. Okay, so for this activity, you're going to need a litre container. It could be a milk container. It could be a cleaning spray bottle that holds a litre. Okay, so you're thinking about a litre. Now, what I want you to do next is to get some different items that you could find around the home that hold a litre of water or milk. Okay, then what I want you to do, if we look back at that first slide, we're going to think about a litre, and then we're going to think about what is less than a litre and what is more than a litre. Have a look at the pictures because that might help you when you're working out this activity. Okay, so we have a litre, we have less than a litre, more than a litre. Okay, now with your different size bottles or containers that you found around the house, I want you to now put them into the right category. Are they a litre? Are they less than a litre? Are they more? And how do you know? How are you going to work that out? Okay, so that's your first activity. For the next activity, we are going to be learning about volume, and for this activity you're going to need some different cake tins. So go and have a look in the kitchen. You can pause the video at any time. You need to find different cake tins and a measuring cup or measuring container. So for this activity we're going to place the different cake tins in a line, and you're going to think about or guess how many cups of water are going to be needed to fill up each of the cake tins. So if we have a look at the previous slide, we can see that you can set up a grid just like this. Okay, so you're going to name the different cake tins on one side, then you're going to make a guess and write your number, and then you're going to work it out using that measurement cup. Okay, and see how close you got. So you're making an estimate, and then you're going to test the actual volume. So we're looking at how many cups of water are going to fit into each of those baking tins. Okay, now remember you can pause the video at any time you need to. Let's go on to the next activity. This next activity, we are going to be learning about volume again, lots of practice. And this time around, you're going to need lots of different size containers, 4 or 5 different containers of different sizes. And you need to think about which containers have the most space and which containers have the least space. Now you could make a guess, but then after you've made a guess, just like in the previous activity, you could actually test that out by using your cup and using some water and filling up each of the containers. And once you've filled up a container, you could write the number of how many cups of water it took to fill up the container. So like the last activity, have a guess first and then test it out. Okay, we're making an estimate and then we're testing it to see how close we got to the correct answer. Okay, right, the next activity is heaps of fun. Now, if you don't have little teddies at home like we do have in the classroom, you could use anything for this activity. You could use little pieces of Lego, you could use rocks from the garden, you could use little pebbles or stones, anything that you have around the house that you could use to fill up. Now, you probably can notice you could either use different size containers for this activity, or you could use paper and make your own containers of different sizes, just like you can see on the picture here. Okay, so in this activity, we're learning about capacity, and we want to be able to guess how many of those objects you've got will fit into each of the different size cylinders. Again, you're making an estimate or a guess, and then you can test that out, okay? You need to be able to think about, would a cylinder that's really big and wide, would that hold more teddies or pebbles or bits of Lego than a cylinder that's really little and narrow? It would be interesting to see if your estimates are correct. So have a go with that activity. The next activity, you're going to need some measuring spoons like Mum or Dad would use in the kitchen for baking, and a measuring cup. Okay, and you could use some rice for this activity. Ask Mum or Dad if you're allowed to use some rice to practice learning about volume and capacity. So we are going to think about how many spoons of rice it would take to fill up the cup. Have a guess, okay, and record your predictions. So write down what you think the answer will be, and then test it out, and then write down what the real answer is and see how close you get. Okay, and you can repeat this activity using different size cups or spoons. So I hope you have lots of fun with these activities, teaching you about volume and capacity. Good luck.